data is properties. First, this universe of discourse concept. Remember, last time I mentioned a term called mini world, right? Same concept here. Yeah, because we need to, when we develop a web application using databases, we need to describe some specific target, right? The goal. Yeah. Also, we need to work for some special business. Yeah. But we do not need to, cover too much. Yeah. For example, for this university application, yeah. So we only need to represent all the entities. Later, we will talk about this concept. Entities in the university. Yeah. It's a mini world. Yeah. Yeah. Everything related to this university business. Yeah. So that mini world concept, right, yeah, represents some aspects of the real world. Yeah. A portion of the real world, not the whole world. Yeah. Yeah. Then ignore a lot of unrelated details. Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, when we represent student information, yeah, student is one entity, so we should represent in this university business. So the student first name, last name, student number, grades, courses, that kind of information we need to represent. But a lot of other details about student we do not need to represent. Unrelated. Yeah. So, yeah. So you can, think about. Yeah. So in business, we only, so a lot of details. We do not need to use our resource to, represent or deal with it. Yeah. All right. Data represent directly reflect states of the mini world. Yeah. State. Yeah, because at different times, different instances, then the data could be different. Yeah. Yeah. Because for a student, different semester, different year, your data is different, right? Yeah. So at each instant, we call the data for one student. That's the state. Yeah. State of that entity. Yeah. So here, the basic concept. Coherent, yeah. So our data should be coherent, yeah. Regarding the business, yeah. Because there are many logic relationship, right? Yeah. Some logic relationship. When you represent your data, so you should maintain the basic logic. You should not cause any contradiction in your data representation. Yeah. Yeah. But in your data representation, because sometimes you cannot store all the information. A lot of information you don't want to store. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. But then some internal relationship. Yeah. There is some, for example, enrollment. Yeah. So when you were enrolled, so there is some time. Yeah. There is a date. Yeah. So you were enrolled in this university. Yeah. So then, so when you store the grades for different semesters, there is some, correlationship. Yeah. So the semester, the grades stored in the tables should not be before your enrollment, right? Yeah? Yeah. Otherwise, it's a contradiction. Yeah. So in the business, a lot of coherent thing you need to consider. Because sometimes people may when people do the data entry, they may make mistakes, right? Yeah. When they enter fall semester 2025, by accident they entered 2024. Things like that, then they violate that coherent requirement. Yeah, there is some contradiction. Yeah. So you need to find a way to avoid it. Things like that. Yeah. All right. Logically coherent with some inherent meaning. Yeah. Yeah. Because there are too many roles regarding the university business. Too many roles. Yeah. Yeah. And people, the system designer, cannot exhaust all those rules, right? Yeah. So the system designer, try to cover all the important rules, but because too many rules, yeah. So sometimes it's very common the system designer may not cover certain rules. Yeah. Then, when you develop the application, you need to, when you encounter that situation, so suddenly you find some contradiction. Yeah. So then you need to fix it. Yeah. You need to add a rule, yeah, because that rule is not described in the project description. Yeah. So, but for your business, you need that rule. Yeah. So you need to, add it, yeah, and solve the problem. Yeah. All right. So support business in a right way. Yeah. So for this step, it relies on correct, right understanding of the business. Yeah. So that part, for a big business, not easy. Yeah. The programmers, yeah, because there are two groups of people, right? Yeah. One group of people, we are the programmers. Yeah. So your expertise in coding, that's your expertise. You know how to write the code. Yeah. Another group of people, business people, they don't know how to write code. Okay? But they're familiar with the business. So all the rules, all the, those things. So these two groups of people, you need to communicate. Yeah. So the business people, they need to explain the specific requirements. Yeah. So the programmers, you need to understand the business requirements. Okay? Yeah. Many rounds communication. Yeah, because for the first few rounds, you may not understand some of the requirements correctly. Yeah. So after many rounds communication, so then you can do better and better. Yeah. So that kind of process. All right. Specific purpose. Yeah. So your web applications using the databases, it must have some well-defined purpose. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. All right. So provide valuable services for a certain group. Yeah. For university, whole business. Yeah. So that's service very valuable. Yeah. All right. So here, you get some overview on database properties. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because every time when we learn some concepts, we need to connect to the business world. Yeah. Although in some abstract way, yeah. Yeah, but we have to do that kind of connection to understand our data. All right, next, C.3. Now we get to this main part of this topic, database management system. For this class, the main topic of this class, database management system. Yeah. So database, that's, the data we want to use. We work on the data, but the main knowledge we want to learn, database management system. That's the, yeah. All right, main part of the knowledge. Yeah. All right, DBMS, a collection of programs managing databases. Simple description, collection, large collection of programs. Yeah. Very complicated, a big system. Yeah. Managing databases. Yeah. All right. And interface between databases and end users. Yeah. So there, how to use this DBMS? Through certain interfaces. Yeah. Then what kind of end users? Yeah. So here, there are different types of end users. Yeah. Business people, yeah. All right, programmers, yeah. Then another group of people, DBA people. Yeah. DBA people. All right. So first, there is an interface for programmers. Programming interface. Programmers, all right. And another type of interface for administration interface, DBA. Yeah. Yeah. Administration people of databases. Yeah. Yeah. So they need to work on the data every day, yeah, through some user-friendly GUI interface. Yeah. But we programmers, we use different interfaces. Yeah. Yeah. So we are different from DBA people. Yeah. Typically we, as programmers, we work remotely, right? Yeah. The DBA people, so they work on the system directly. So our programmers, we access database indirectly. Yeah, indirectly. Okay? Yeah. So we use the programming interface. I will talk about the content details of the programming interface. What kind of programming interface we need to use. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But you just know here, typically these two different types of interfaces. Yeah. All right. Then, what kind of work, what kind of managing tasks or operations? Yeah, here we should say operations. These four basic operations. Yeah. Create databases. Yeah. So you need to just create operation. Yeah. Create a new database. Read. Yeah. Remember retrieval, data retrieval. Yeah. That's another basic operation. Yeah. Type. Yeah. Update. Yeah. When you change the data, so you need to update operation. Then delete. Yeah. Delete data. So these four basic operations. Yeah. So that's the lowest level basic operations. On higher levels, so we have many more advanced operations we can build on top of these basic operations. Yeah. Some very complex query statements we can build, yeah, based on these four basic operations. Yeah. All right. And if you compare, so here we have four different types of operations. If you compare with the four operations we learned in last class we also learned four operations, right? Retrieval, first one. Insertion, second one. Update, third one. Deletion, fourth one. You can see slightly different, right? A little different. In those four we do not have create. Yeah. Database creation, we don't have that operation. But these four, we do not have insertion. Data insertion, yeah. We do not have. Yeah. Yeah. So here, let me explain. Yeah. In this situation, yeah, the data insertion is included in this update. Included in that upgrade operation. Although two different operations, yeah. So the syntax, if we use the SQL statement, the syntax is different, insertion and update. Yeah. But in a higher level, these two can be combined in the same type of operation. Higher level, yeah. In our programming situation, yeah, we need to do programming, right? Later, yeah. So in Java, so here, when I talk about when you use Java to write programs, insertion and update, you use the same method. Yeah, same way. Same method. Yeah, yeah. You know, so you can cover both operations. Yeah. Yeah. So in that kind of special way, so yeah, so you do not need to worry about, so here, why we do not mention that insertion. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then these four basic operations that people use the initials. Yeah. So you can see people talk about these four basic operations. They use this four initials frequently. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's CRUD operations. Yeah. So when people write technical articles, so when you see this capital CRUD, so you know what they are talking about. Yeah. So these four basic database management operations. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next. Yeah. So I explain the insertion operation a little bit. Yeah. So in Java, yeah, you know, we combine these two. Yeah. But in other programming language, it's different. Yeah. So for this class, when I talk about how to write programs to do the business operations, I explain the Java way and the PHP way. Yeah. Two different ways, completely different ways. So that's the two different approaches. Yeah. So I will explain later. Yeah. All right. A general purpose software application. DBMS, it is a general purpose software application. It's not a special purpose, general. General here, yeah, what's the right understanding of the general? General here, it has nothing to do with specific business. So when we use DBMS, let's say MySQL, MySQL, that's the DBMS we will use for this class. Yeah. When we use MySQL or MySQL, all right, yeah. General purpose, it has nothing to do with specific business. Okay. For example, I mentioned that university business. So inside MySQL, there is no special features for university business. No. Yeah. Yeah. So you use a generic, high-level generic system. Yeah. So you can apply this high-level generic system on all business applications in the world. Yeah. Yeah. So no problem. Yeah. So that's the another property of DBMS. It must be a general purpose software application. Yeah. Does not rely on any business specifics. Support all business. Yeah. All right. Question? Yeah.
What are the specific applications or software
Yeah. So when you do specific business applications, then you find, so you use this general purpose, so you find a way to work on your data. Yeah.
So is it like using Power BI?
Oh, yeah. So you talk about, yeah, that possible, yeah. Some, yeah. So here I'm talk about the, general DBMS. Yeah. So yeah. So there are some, narrow down specific DBMS, yeah. But those are not the general purpose. Yeah. Not general. Yeah. So that's possible. Yeah. Because sometimes when people feel the general purpose may not be the best. Yeah. May not be the best. Yeah, actually, for NoSQL, that case they feel the general purpose not good. Yeah. So then they need a different type. Yeah. Yeah. But here we talk about the relational DBMS. Yeah. Relational DBMS. The general purpose DBMS. Yeah. So there are some specific. Yeah. But yeah. All right. Usually running on database servers, especially large databases. Yeah. Usually, so here. Most of the time, yeah, the databases, DBMS, this software needs to run on large database servers. Yeah. Yeah. Remotely, yeah. And especially for large databases. Yeah. But there is some special case. Yeah. Yeah. Most big applications, yeah, so you have to use large database servers to run your data. Yeah. So like data center, a lot of servers. Yeah. All right. But there is some exception I also need to mention here. That's the embedded databases. Yeah. It's a case. So what's that? Yeah. So this, although the situation to use embedded, so not too much, yeah, but it's an important exception. For example, if people want to develop mobile apps, yeah, sometimes you need to use databases, right? Yeah, mobile apps. You need to use databases, yeah. But mobile apps, can you always connect to the internet? Right? Yeah, because sometimes you do not have internet connection. Okay? There are some situations the internet connection may not be available. Yeah? When that happens, do you still want to use your particular application? Right? Yeah? Yeah. Sometimes you may like to develop some mobile apps that do not rely on internet connection. Yeah, still works. You can work on the data. You can work on the data, yeah, without internet connection. Yeah. So in this situation, you cannot use database servers, right? You cannot use database servers. Yeah. Then there is a special way you can do it. Use embedded databases. Embedded inside your mobile apps. Yeah. So what's that embedded? Yeah. All right. So you have a file. Yeah. All right. So here we call the database engine file. All right. Database. Yeah. All right, so here. So there is a file. Yeah. One file containing all the features. You can do a lot of database because it's a database engine. Okay, yeah. It powers this DBMS. It powers a DBMS, but this engine cannot be very large. Okay, this engine cannot be too large, yeah, because we do not want to put a very large app file. Yeah, so relatively small, yeah, but it can do most of the basic queries in DBMS. Basic, yeah. Not so definitely advanced, high level. Yeah. So we do not want to include. Yeah, yeah. But for the although that file relatively how small it is, yeah, here I can give you some idea. Yeah, because I saw some of the database engine file before. The size I saw before 0.6 megabyte. Yeah, that's pretty small, right? Yeah, that's the engine file, the whole engine file. Okay, yeah, yeah, definitely. So that number, that's the one I used before. Yeah. So this one, if we include in the app, so then no problem. Yeah, but you can do a lot of basic queries. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So for our real world applications, 90-something% of the queries we can do using the small engine. Yeah. Then you do not rely on internet, right? Yeah. You do not need to connect to the remote database servers. Yeah. So you use your local database engine. You can do, to power your little app. Yeah. So that's a special case. Yeah. All right. So then, all right. Yeah, here. Yeah. All right. All right. So small enough, yeah. All right, yeah. Contain basic functions. Yeah, all the basic functions, yeah. But when I use it, it looks like, for our usual everyday operations, we can do it. Okay, the CRUD, no problem. Even much more complicated than that, we can do. Yeah, yeah. So pretty powerful. Yeah. All right. Work locally. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So here, so we're back to the general DBMS. Yeah. Very sophisticated with building efficient algorithms and data structures. Yeah. So this property, yeah, so we will learn in our module 5. So we will learn, some efficient algorithms. Yeah. Yeah. And the data structures. Yeah. Yeah. But we will not go very deep. Yeah. We will not go very deep. Yeah. We just learn get some high-level understanding. Yeah. 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 Because if we go deep, very complicated. Yeah. So we don't want to go that far. Yeah. 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 I just explain the main ideas on the algorithms, data structures. That should be enough. Yeah. To give you sufficient background knowledge for your future application development. Yeah. So that knowledge should be enough. Yeah. All right. More properties of DBMS. Yeah. All right. Build based on some database model. Yeah. So here, yeah, we need to connect to the history a little bit. History of the DBMS a little bit. Yeah. So at the beginning, yeah, the DBMS was created in academia. Yeah. So not in business directly. Yeah. So at the beginning, so it was an academic project. Yeah. So the university researchers, yeah, so they start this project, yeah, DBMS. Okay. So the model at the beginning, so those researchers, yeah, so they, design, model. Yeah, you need to, in your design, you need to describe a special model, right? Yeah, the structure. Yeah. So the model here, so we need some specific structure of the DBMS, the main features, the connections, a lot of details, yeah, yeah, in that research project. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the history, yeah, that information, although we will not learn much. Yeah. So the history of the DBMS, so we will learn a little bit to help us understand the current DBMS in the business world. Yeah. All right. Logical structure of a database. Yeah. So in that academic project, so first in the design, so the logical structure should be created. Yeah. All right. How to store, organize, manipulate data. Yeah. So in the design, how to store data, yeah. How to organize, yeah. Manipulate. Yeah. So then, so they create the, so here we're talking about the relational model. Yeah. Yeah. The most important one in that academic project, relational model. Yeah. Because they want to explore the relationship in different tables. Yeah. Yeah. So the tables they use as the storage unit. Yeah. They organize the data in a sequence of tables. Yeah. All right. Then in order to provide valuable services for the business applications, they need to represent relationships among different tables. So they create that relational model. How to represent the relationships in different tables. So they need to find a way to do it. All right? Yeah. All right. Then, in the design, another important part, operations through standard language. Yeah, this language, there is a special language that should be used, the SQL. Yeah. So this SQL, yeah, last time I mentioned structured query language, SQL, structured query language. Yeah. All right. Then, now it becomes industry standard. Yeah. So all the relational DBMS must support SQL standard. Yeah. So, all right. But when I talk about the standard SQL, yeah, then there is some complexity here. Yeah. Complexity here. Yeah. Actually, when we talk about the whole SQL, there are two parts: the standard part and the extended part. Two parts for the whole SQL. Okay? Yeah. But when we, yeah, so this standard part, yeah, so we refer, yeah, it to the core part, yeah, the core of the SQL. Yeah. The core of the SQL, yeah, that's the industry. This part, only this part is the industry standard. Standard. Yeah. The core part is industry standard. Yeah. Then yeah, the standard part, yeah, because when DBMS products are developed by different vendors, DBMS vendors, now, they have freedom to control their own product, right? Yeah. So, Oracle people, different vendors, they can control their own products. Yeah. All right. So they have freedom to add extra features in their products, right? Yeah. Yeah. So MySQL, Microsoft, right? Microsoft has their, popular product. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very common. Those database vendors, they want to add their special features. But those added special features, they do not belong to the industry standard. Yeah. Yeah. So that part, yeah, added part, that's the extended SQL. Yeah. For different DBMSs, the extended part, quite different. Yeah. But when we use different DBMS products, then that extended part may cause a lot of problems. Yeah, a lot of problems. Yeah. Yeah. Today I just give you this much information, but later I need to talk about this a lot. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of differences in this extended SQL. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Data definition. Yeah. All right. Now, how to define, organize data definition. Yeah. So here, yeah, we look at the most important case, the table definition. Each database contains a sequence of tables. So we need to design the structure of all those tables. Yeah. So the table definition. Yeah. All right, yeah. Then data manipulation. After we store the data, we need to access the data. We need to manipulate data. So then in this relational model, yeah, so those designers, they need to find a way to manipulate data. Yeah. Find a way to define data. Okay? Find a way to manipulate data. Right? Yeah. 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 So 4 basic operations. Yeah. So those researchers, so yeah, so they put them in the specification. Yeah. All right. Then data control. Yeah. Data control. Yeah. Yeah. So what's that? Grant privilege to specific users. Permission. Yeah. Users with different levels of privileges. Okay? The top level. Yeah. So that, because some of users, yeah, some of tables you can access, but some of the table you cannot access. Okay? Yeah. So control the privileges, yeah, for different users. That's also important for DBMS. Yeah. 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 So you can see in that project design, yeah, all these main questions must be considered. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. All right, so that's the part C. Yeah, so the first round, I just give you this much, short introduction about databases and the DBMS. Yeah. Yeah. Later, we will learn more and more information. Yeah. All right. So then, because I jumped to this part, so I skipped the first part. So now I want to go back to the first part. I talk about programming a little bit. Yeah. So I try to, control the balance. Yeah. Every class, I do some theoretical part and also do some programming part. Yeah. All right. So now let me get to the programming. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, keep. Now, go to the very beginning. All right. C.1, yeah. Web Technology Review, jQuery. Yeah, let me talk about this jQuery a little bit. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. So here, let me give you basic info. For those, yeah, as I said, the beginners for web programming. Yeah. So I use this class. Yeah. I mean, just help you a little bit, so you can get, if you are not familiar with web programming, so you can use this chance. Yeah. So pick it up. The basic web programming knowledge. Yeah. All right. So we will use JavaScript a lot, yeah, because this jQuery already this technology very old, yeah, but it's very useful, very powerful, very popular. So still, we like to learn this a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, because for this class, I do not plan to go to higher level JavaScript technologies. Yeah. So we want to save time. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we try to, only use the basic level. Yeah. All right. To use jQuery, yeah, very simple. Yeah. To use jQuery, yeah. So first, you need to connect to jQuery. You need to load it. Yeah. All right. So let's look at how to do it. There are two ways to include jQuery in your project. All right. One way, you download it. Yeah, download, direct way. Yeah, download jQuery. Yeah, the file is not too big. Yeah, the jQuery library files. Yeah, yeah. So not too big. Yeah, all right. So then you put it into your web application. Yeah, it's just a JavaScript file. Yeah, yeah. Included as library file, certain location. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But then in your HTML file, in order to use that jQuery library, you need to use this line. Yeah. Here, I'll give you an example. Yeah. This line, certain version. Yeah. This version could be updated. Yeah. Recent version, but the idea is like this. Yeah. You connect to the jQuery library with this line in your HTML files. Yeah. You can use it. Yeah. Sometimes, because sometimes people may put it in certain folder. Yeah. For example, JS folder. JS folder contain all the JavaScript files. Yeah. Because if you have many JavaScript files, right? So you may want to put in a JS folder. That's very common. Yeah. In that situation, then you need to add this path at the beginning of this file name. Yeah. 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 So I think you can figure out what is the right path, right? You have that knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first way, direct way. Okay. Yeah. Then there is a second way. Yeah. So here. Second way, also very useful. Let me talk about the second way. Second way, that's the CDN way. Another popular way, CDN. So what's that CDN? Content Delivery Network, CDN. What's that? You access jQuery remotely. You do not need to download. Or you do not need to download directly as a local file. Okay? Yeah. So you need to download, but I will explain. You use a you use a different way to download. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The CDN way. This CDN also used for other libraries. Many other libraries, you use the CDN way. Yeah. Here, let me explain the CDN way. For jQuery, this time we include this line in our HTML files. Yeah. So this line, you can see the source location of the jQuery library. We provide so here, this is copy from Google. Okay, yeah. This example. So here you can see in the Google server. Yeah. So they store a CDN copy. Yeah. So everyone can use it. Yeah. In this CDN way, then you do not need to download store jQuery on your local machine. Yeah. So it is available in the Google server, remote machine. Okay, all right. Then the downloading occurs when your web browser load the whole page. Your web browser needs to load the page, right? Yeah. So because this is a line inside HTML, so your browser needs to load this file to your machine. Okay? To your machine. Downloading, yeah? But it does not store on your hard drive. It stores it in a buffer of the web browser. Your web browser has some buffer, right? Yeah, buffer. So this file is stored in the buffer of the web browser temporarily. That's a temporary storage. If you shut down your web browser, then it is removed from the buffer. Okay? Yeah. The next time if you want to use this file, you need to download it another time. Yeah. But downloading very fast. Yeah. You cannot notice any delay. Yeah. Yeah. Very fast. Yeah. Yeah. Because the file is not big. Yeah. Pretty small. Yeah. All right. So this is the CDN way. Yeah. Then these two ways, sometimes the first way is better. Sometimes the second way is better. Yeah. Yeah. Here, for example, for the second way here, let me talk about the special situation. The second way is better. Yeah. For example, yeah. So you have group of people exchange programs. Yeah. If you use second way, then it's better because you do not need to send the jQuery library file. Yeah. So you include the CDN, so you send it to your friends, then your friends can run it immediately without any downloading, right? Yeah. You don't need to download any library files. Yeah. So you use the CDN library files in very convenient way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But definitely there are also some situations the first way is better, right? Yeah. Yeah. First way, yeah. For example, you develop web applications using your own server. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Some business. So here some specific business. Yeah. Yeah. Some business, they need to use their own server to run the applications. Yeah. All right. But if you use CDN way, then your application relies on other people, right? Yeah. If those people they for some reason they shut down their servers, then your applications have some problem, right? Yeah. So you don't want to rely on any other people, so you want to use your own library. The library file is stored on your own server. Then you do not rely on any other people. Okay? So the first way, also, in some situations, the first way is better. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So after that, now you are ready to use the jQuery. Code conversion. So what's code for the code conversion? What I mean is, remember I gave you one JavaScript version, drag and drop example, right? Yeah. So that same example, I converted to the jQuery version. Yeah. So I haven't posted. Yeah. So tonight I will post that second version, jQuery version. I need to do conversion. Okay. So here I talk about how to do the conversion. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is our old example, the previous one. Yeah. When I do conversion, I add that capital JQ. Yeah. So you download the JQ version. Yeah. So I modify the two files to JQ version. Yeah. The HTML file JQ version and the JavaScript file JQ version. Right. Right. So in this HTML file, first we add a CDN link. Yeah. Because I do not want to ask you to download the jQuery. Yeah. For convenience, I assume everyone has reliable internet connection. Yeah. So no problem. Yeah. You can run. After that, we need to convert our old JavaScript file to the jQuery version. jQuery version, we need to rewrite the JavaScript functions in jQuery version, but there is a big difference. Big difference for the drag and drop feature. Remember, the main feature in this example, that's the drag and drop feature, right? Yeah. But jQuery has a nice support for drag and drop. Yeah. So we do not have to write a lot of code. Remember, in our first example, we write a lot of code supporting drag and drop feature, right? Yeah. We need to write, many functions. Yeah. But jQuery, you don't need to write those functions. So jQuery has some built-in mechanism supporting drag and drop. Yeah. Yeah. The minimum code is very minimal. Yeah. So let me explain the jQuery way. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So this arrow means connection. Yeah, definitely. In this HTML, you need to connect to this JavaScript file. Convert all the JavaScript functions to the jQuery version. Yeah. But those drag and drop functions, because jQuery has its built-in support, then we do not need to write those drag and drop related functions. Yeah. That's the main difference. So you will see the jQuery version JavaScript file, very small, just a few simple lines. You do not need to do a lot of work. Yeah. You do the minimum amount of work in that jQuery version. All right. Then jQuery syntax. I want to complete this topic in this class. All right. Yeah, jQuery syntax, very simple. Yeah. All right. Approach. Select HTML elements and perform actions on them. Yeah. So that's the approach. The way to apply jQuery syntax in this approach. Yeah. Two parts. Select part. You need to select certain HTML elements. Then action part. Yeah. you need to apply certain actions on these elements. No, that's the basic structure of the jQuery syntax. No. All right. The details, the basic syntax. Selection part, always start with the dollar sign, the symbol. Yeah. You know, the web browser knows that. The web browser, when it sees this dollar signs, it knows jQuery library should be used. Yeah. Dollar, parenthesis, inside that parenthesis, you need to use selector. So what's that selector? You use the CSS way to select element. Yeah. So I will show you later. Yeah. But the structure is that you need to put a selector expression. Yeah. What kind of selector expression? Yeah. Later we will see. Yeah. CSS way. Yeah. So if you have some knowledge, basic knowledge of CSS, you can understand easily. Yeah. I will explain. Yeah. Then dot action, that's a jQuery function. You call certain jQuery function. Okay? Function name, then a pair of parentheses. Yeah. Okay? So you call a jQuery function. Yeah. That's the basic syntax. Like that. Yeah. Very simple. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here I explain. Yeah. Dollar sign. Find the CSS. We will use a few examples to see it. Yeah, so perform on the selected elements. Yeah. Action. Yeah. All right, let me show you simple examples. Yeah. This first example, dollar parenthesis this is a keyword. Yeah. This element. Yeah. All right? Yeah. This element. Yeah. When you click it, the current element is activated. Yeah. So it refers to the current element. Okay? Yeah. You click it. Yeah. So dollar parenthesis this keyword. Yeah. So now you have control on the current element. Yeah. Current element. Then you call some function dot hide. Hide function is a jQuery function. Yeah. So then the action, the result, this element becomes hidden. Yeah. Yeah. Hide. Yeah. It's gone. Okay. Yeah. You click it. If you click it, you call this function. Yeah. Hide. Yeah. You need to have a function to call, right? Yeah. So you call the function. Yeah. Then you execute this statement. Then this element becomes hidden. It's gone. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's a simple example. Yeah. Yeah. Then another hides the current element. Then second example. This time the selector, I changed the selector part. Right? The first time select part is this keyword. Second time select part, double quotes P, yeah, there is special meaning. Double quotes. Yeah. All right. String, yeah. P element. Yeah. P is the name of the paragraph, we know, right? In HTML, P symbol represents the paragraph element. So this selector means you select all the P elements in the current document, current HTML. All elements with type, with element P element, all selected. Yeah. Hide, yeah. All hidden. Yeah. All right, hide all P elements. The next example, $dot test. Yeah. Yeah. There is a dot. Yeah. Dot in CSS, we know it's class, right? Yeah. Yeah. When we define a class, we use this dot operator. That's CSS way. Okay? All right. Test, the class name is test. So in this selector, that means you select all the elements with class test. Selected, then hide. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So I run out of time. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but I almost finished this slide. Okay, all right. Yeah, the last example, yeah, this sharp. Okay, yeah, you know, test another CSS syntax. Yeah, yeah, and this refers to ID. Yeah, yeah. So this one class, but this sharp sign, yeah, ID is the select one element. Yeah, because ID, only one element can use this ID. Yeah, it must be unique. Yeah. ID must be unique. The class, many elements can use the same class name, but only one element can use one ID name. Yeah. Then you select that single element, then you hide it. Yeah. All right, let me stop right here. Yeah. Yeah. So we finished, the C.1. So we finished this whole part C. Yeah. So next time we will go to part D.